There's a rumor going around. If you like this video and subscribe, you will receive training from Guy Sensei. Hi guys, this is the next part of What if Itachi Uchiha was reincarnated in the world of fairy tale? I hope you enjoy. Itachi had been in deep thought ever since last night, and the whole ordeal with Sabretooth. There had been rumors going around the town that someone foolishly attacked the Sabretooth Guildhall, yet no one seemed to know it was Natsu thankfully. Itachi was not worried over the reputation Natsu might give out on about fairy tale after his little rampage if the civilians found out. What he was worried about was that Sabretooth might target them personally for the rest of the games. And they already had Raven Tail doing that, there was no need for another guild going after them. The rest of his teammates on Team B looked a little confused as they were all wondering what Itachi was thinking about. Itachi, Mira was about to ask what the problem was, but was interrupted by the announcer. We're now on day 3, halfway into the Grand Magic Games. What heated drama awaits us today? Today's guest, from the Magic Council, is Mr. Lahar. The announcer said as they all looked over to the knight known as Lahar, who Fairy Tail had encountered during the Nirvana incident, and Itachi knew him from helping Lahar out with capturing Dark Guild members and such. It's been a long time. Ujima said to Lahar. It's an honor to be here. Mr. Lahar is actually Chief Marshal of the Custody Enforcement Unit. Yes, any cheaters will have to answer to me. Lahar said in a joking tone so that the audience laughed along, although knowing Lahar he probably was serious. Just as I'd expect from the Chief Marshal. You're always on duty. Now for day 3's contest part, Pandemonium. Pandemonium? Gajeel questioned with a raised brow. It means a den filled with monsters. Mira replied and they were all looking rather serious, knowing Itachi was going to participate in this event as he claimed during the second day. Wonder what you will have to go through. Laxus said as he looked over at Itachi who was looking rather calm. The contest itself won't be too difficult, what's more concerning is the competition. Itachi said as he eyed the Sabretooth Guild and Raven Tail. Itachi then jumped down onto the stage and walked towards the center. It seems we will be competing against each other, Oni-san. Urza suddenly walked up next to him looking rather excited to compete against Itachi. It would seem so. I wonder if we will have to fight each other. Itachi said, which caused Urza to smile a little. Perhaps, if we do I won't hold back. Urza said, which caused Itachi to smile a little as well. Itachi gave a nod. I won't be beat. Urzi. A familiar cat girl with more spiky hair, dressed in a cloak with only what looked like black underwear underneath. Miliana. Itachi questioned as he was a little surprised that she was a part of Mermaid Heel now. I met her last night, and it seems she wants to kill Jalal. Urza said as her face changed from a smile to face with sorrow. She then quickly regained her posture and kept up a serious expression. I see, so she wants revenge for what Jalal did to them all those years ago. Itachi uttered and he knew it was understandable. He just wondered how Jalal would take all this, seeing as he was watching the games from afar with Ultir and Merity. It looked like a blue-skinned cloaked big-nosed man named Obra from Raven Tail was joining in on the contest. And Hibiki from Blue Pegasus was joining in as well. Orga was entering for Sabretooth. And Jura entered for Lamia Scale. Nobarley entered from what used to be Quattro Cerberus who now was Quattro Puppy. Itachi knew Orga won't be an issue for neither him or Urza, but this Obra from Raven Tail remained a mystery. So, Itachi kept a closer eye on this Raven Tail member. A magic circle then opened up in the sky and down came what looked like a dark upside-down castle. What is that? Urza questioned. Wow. Miliana uttered in awe, same with the rest besides Itachi and Hibiki who had begun analyzing. A temple infested with evil monsters, Pandemonium. The Pumpkin Man declared. Infested with monsters, you say? Jura questioned. That's the premise, kin. 100 monsters lurk inside this temple. But rest assured that they won't attack anyone in the crowd. They're magical projections of our own creation. The monsters come in 5 different difficulty levels. D, C, B, A and S. The distribution is shown here. The Pumpkin Man said as he showed a chart that showed different monster characters marked with the difficulty levels, and the amount of them they were. There were 50 D rank monsters, 30 C rank monsters, 15 B rank monsters, 4 A rank monsters and only 1 S rank monster. So, there will only be 1 monster at the level of an S-class mage. However, with the amount of numbers this could prove to be difficult for many. Well, naturally for some it won't be. Itachi thought and looked at Urza and Jura, knowing they could probably take all 100 monsters down by themselves, and he knew he could do the same himself. He wasn't sure about the other competitors though. For reference, here's how strong a D-class monster is. A video of a 4-legged silver hard-skinned monster showed up, and it tore through a pillar with ease. The pandemonium is teeming with these and even stronger ones. 100 in all, kin. Everyone in the audience seemed to think this would be too much for the competitors. They were about to be surprised. Monsters grow increasingly more powerful with each successive class. There's no guarantee that even a wizard saint can defeat the S-class monster, kin. You will take turn choosing the number of monsters you'll fight. This is called your right to challenge. Right to challenge? Urza questioned. For example, if you choose to fight 3 monsters, then 3 will appear inside the temple. You'll then enter the temple alone. If you successfully defeat the 3 monsters, you'll earn 3 points and the next competitor will get to choose from the remaining 97 monsters. And then it'll repeat. The contest will end once all the monsters are gone or everyone runs out of magic power. It's like a number-grabbing game? Miliana questioned. Indeed. After the first round, judging the situation will become very important. However, as I just explained, the monsters come in different ranks. Whether you choose 1 monster or 5, the enemies that appear will be selected at random. In other words, we'll also need to strategize to avoid the S-class monster. Hibiki said. There is no way to plan for that if they're random. Orga said while looking condescendingly at Hibiki. Not true. Using the probability theory and my archive magic, I can strategize to some degree. Hibiki pointed out. The number of monsters you defeat determines the number of points you earn, regardless of the monster's rank. Once you enter the temple, you're not allowed to leave until you've successfully completed your challenge. I see, and I assume that if one is knocked out they won't lose any points, correct? Itachi said and looked rather calm, and Orga glared daggers at him. Seeming not only to hate Itachi for last night, but for what happened during that one time they met during the day of the preliminary round. Yes, however one loses the points they have earned during the round they are knocked out in. The Pumpkin Man replied. I see. Sounds simple enough. Itachi said with an emotionless expression, despite all the factors one would have to take in during this competition. Like not be too greedy, how much one can handle, and how long it takes to recover your lost magic power. Now to decide the order you'll go in. Please pull a straw. Everyone gathered around the Pumpkin Man and pulled a straw each, and Urza got the first turn, and Itachi got the very last turn. I'm first, Urza said looking rather surprised. Seems I won't get that many points. Itachi smiled as he knew Urza would probably take most of the monsters out if not all of them. I assumed victory in this even relied entirely on the luck of the draw, Urza said with a confident smile as everyone looked at her confused. Luck of the draw? I don't think so. This game is more about pacing and judgment than the order you go in. The Pumpkin Man said. No, this isn't even a game anymore, Urza said as she walked towards the temple. I will take on all 100 monsters. I choose to challenge all of them, Urza declared, which left most taken aback besides Itachi, who only smiled warmly at his younger sister's spirit. Well, let's see what you can do, Urza, Itachi said with a small chuckle that was shared by every fairy tale member. You cannot challenge all 100 monsters at once. This game was not designed for one person to take out all of them, the Pumpkin Man pointed out nervously. I don't care, Urza replied and walked in towards the temple. Everyone then watched as the fearless Titania Urza entered the temple. Urza Scarlet of Fairy Tale Team A, chooses to challenge 100 monsters. Urza stood bravely as the lower level monsters started to appear in high numbers. Is Urza serious? She will take on all of them, Hibiki uttered in disbelief. She will be fine, I should know after all, I trained her. Itachi said as he simply watched the screen and watched Urza re-equip into her Heaven's Wheel armor, and utilized her Blumenblatt to strike down multiple D-class monsters around her. She's testing the monsters' reaction speed, their strength and defenses. And while finding the perfect armor to deal with each and every monster, she really has come far compared to how she was like when I first met her. Itachi thought as he thought back on Urza when she was scared little girl, and compared to how she was now, brought a smile on Itachi's face. You've grown so much, Itachi uttered. Urza re-equipped into her black wing armor and cut down 2 more monsters in one swing. Urza kept cutting down monster after monster as her black wing armor increased the power of her attacks. A C-class monster then spat fire at her and most people gasped at this. Itachi, however, remained calm, like a lot of other fairy tale members who knew Erza and her abilities. Erza had re-equipped into her Flame Empress armor as well as the Sea Empress armor's sword to put out the fire. She kept cutting down the lower level monsters with both fire and water, causing explosions to erupt around the temple. Go, go, Erza! Mira cheered happily for her former rival, and so did the rest of the fairy tale members. Whoa, that girl is crazy. Risley from Mermaid Heel said as they looked amazed of what Miliana's friend could do. Kagura herself didn't look that impressed, although she did look from the corner of her eye, keeping a watch on this Titania Erza. Erza then used her Sea Empress armor and Lightning Empress spear to attack a B-class monster, as well as some lower level monsters. Erza was about to get smacked by the B-class monster, but quickly re-equipped into her flight armor and used her now super light speed to cut down the B-class monster as well as 2 C-class monsters. Incredible, she's already taken out half of the monsters. Seriously? Nobarley questioned, starting to look a little nervous. Impressive, Hibiki complimented. She fights efficiently, and with finesse. You seem to have taught her well, Itachi Dono. Jura complimented. She would probably have reached this level on her own without my help. Itachi admitted, although he has made Erza stronger over the years, and taught her various moves and how to think faster during combat. I wonder if Sho and Wally are seeing this, Miliana uttered, wondering if her and Erza's old friends saw how strong Erza had become. What a joke. She's nothing to get worked up about, Orga said, causing Miliana to send him deadly glares. From the looks of it, Erza was doing fine, although with slight panting and a bruise or two. Multiple monsters then ganged up on her, even one a class monster, and blasted her with various magical blasts. Erza narrowed her gaze and sprinted on the wall, jumped up and span her body. She directed the Lightning Empress spear at some of the lower level monsters, sending a bolt of lightning crashing at them and obliterating them. Erza then moved the spear, sending even more lightning bolts and obliterating all the monsters besides the A-class one. This is getting a little exhausting. Erza started to pant and sweat a little. The A-class monster then threw a heavy punch at Erza, who quickly re-equipped into her adamantine armor, and used its massive shield to block the punch, causing the monster's fist to collapse into pieces. She then easily cut it down. A second A-class monster then swapped her away like a fly, sending her crashing into a pillar. Everyone then gasped and Itachi narrowed his gaze. She's that exhausted, huh? Normally she would have been able to dodge that, Itachi thought, and kept on watching. Erza then climbed out from the rubble and spit some blood out to the side. Clumsy. Erza had a cold expression as she criticized her own foolishness for not dodging that last attack. She then glared daggers at the monster, and then she charged into the A-class monster, and sent it flying through the wall. She then leapt out after it, where she ran into more lower level monsters. She easily disposed of them, and the A-class monster. She cut down monster after monster, making a lot of people gape in awe or fear, depending if they were competing in the games or not. In the end, only 2 B-class monsters, 1 A-class and the S-class monster remained. Erza was standing tall and panted a little bit, with minor injuries. She's doing better than I thought she would, Makarov commented, looking a little surprised. He knew Erza was powerful, but this was something else. Her technique, her movements, they were all similar to her beloved older adopted brother, Itachi. Erza then ran towards the last A-class monster as the 2 B monsters charged at her from the sides. Erza re-equipped into her clear heart clothing and wielded dual katana blades. The A-class monster slammed its claw down upon Erza, who had jumped away to safety. She landed on the monster's arm, and jumped up further. She was hovering over the monster, and raised one of her katanas and swung it down on its head, cutting it in half. Erza then leapt up, avoiding the blast attacks from the 2 B monsters. She then threw her katana blades at them, and hit them both right in the center of their head, killing them instantly. The B-class monster vanished, and all that was left from them was Erza's katanas that fell into her hands. Her accuracy, and the way she threw those blades, reminded me of Itachi with his kunai knives and shuriken. Makarov thought with a prideful, beaming wide grin at Erza's performance. At last, only the S-class monster remains. Erza then turned to a tiny spider-like monster. I see, so you are the S-class monster, Erza said as the tension in the air increased. She then re-equipped her 2 katanas into 2 other katanas that were more powerful. Come. The spider-like monster widened its one eye and released an immense pressure of power. The S-class monster is designed to get 3 times stronger when all the other monsters are wiped out. The pumpkin man chuckled. It won't be a problem for her. Itachi said, which made the Pumpkin Man confused as well as the others. We have dealt with worse before. Itachi smirked a little. The arena for Urza then changed into a single stone floor held up by stone pillars, and the monster had grown in size to the point where it looked like a black armored demonic beast. The monster then quickly kicked Urza, who was taken aback by the arena change. Urza grunted in pain, but focused her energy as her body let out a crimson-red glow that surrounded her blades. Ethernano blade. Urza then sliced both her blades into the air, sending red slice waves at the monster, cutting it into pieces. Everyone from Fairy Tail besides Itachi, who only had a proud smile, erupted into cheer. While everyone else looked shocked, especially a certain member of Mermaid Heel looked stunned at what she saw. Her blades, their powers increased with that glow. Kagura uttered and narrowed her gaze at the screen that showed Urza. Urza had suffered a few injuries, and was slightly out of breath, raised her sword in victory. And the audience was taken aback and were all gaping. Unbelievable. She actually managed to defeat all 100 monsters by herself. Fairy Tail A's Urza Scarlet sweeps the round. It's an absolute, undisputed victory. Is this the true strength of the most powerful guild 7 years ago? Everyone then erupted into cheer, at Urza Scarlet, Titania Urza of Fairy Tail. The temple vanished and there stood only Urza. You did well, were the first words she heard, and it was from Itachi, who greeted her with a brotherly smile and patted her head. Urza. The entire group that was Fairy Tail team ran up to Urza and embraced her in a group hug. You were amazing, Lucy complimented. I was moved to tears, Wendy said with a happy smile as tears ran down her cheeks. Urza really is the strongest. Miliana cheered as she looked at Urza, who smiled happily as she chatted with her friends. She's full of life. As expected of Sir Uchiha's girlfriend. She's too dazzling for me, Hibiki said. Last time I checked, Urza was not Uchiha's girlfriend, Itachi pointed out with a slight annoyed sigh. That's a mere fantasy he has given himself. The entire audience cheered out Urza's name after that amazing display. Fairy Tail sweeps the Pandemonium event and scores 10 points. The Pumpkin Man then nervously went up to the remaining competitors for this event. After some deliberation, we've concluded that the 7 remaining teams still need to be ranked as well. So, although it's a little bland, we've prepared a simple game. A device of some kind then floated down next to the Pumpkin Man. What is this? Nobarley questioned. The Magic Power Finder, or the MPF for short. The Pumpkin Man replied. A magic power measuring device, in other words. Jura said. Precisely. If you use magic on this device, it will display its magic power in numerical form. We'll use this number to decide the rankings for the teams. Let's begin, shall we? Miliana then took off her cape to reveal her skimpy outfit, and sent a pink spiral wave at the power finder. It showed the number of 365. However, most of the audience looked confused, not sure if this was a good score or not. Without a benchmark to compare against, I'm not sure if that's high or not. Actually, we Rune Knights use MPFs in our training. This is a high number. It's enough to be a squad captain. Lahar provided a comparison. Oh, so it is impressive. Feelin' full of life. Miliana cheered. Then Nobarley scored 124 points, Hibiki scored 95 points, then it was Obra's turn and he scored 4 points as all he did was throw a little imp-like thing on the MPF. Which was shocking to most, because they all thought he would be stronger. Then it was Orga's turn, and the crowds went wild. Orga blasted a black bolt of lightning into the MPF, sending out small shockwaves of power. He scored a total of 3,825 points. And everyone besides the ones more powerful looked shocked. Next it was Jura's turn. May I give it my all? Jura asked the Pumpkin Man. Of course, Kin. Jura then went into deep concentration, and he let out a golden aura as petals started to levitate around him and the ground shook like an earthquake. Rumbling Fuji. A massive pillar of light erupted from the ground, leaving multiple people with the exception of a few awestruck. As Jura scored a total of 8,544 points. Orga looked like his pride was shattered as he was so excited about his high score. This is a new MPF record. His title of Wizard Saint is clearly not just for show. The final challenger is Fairy Tail B's Itachi Uchiha. He defeated Jura during the first day, now what kind of score will he accomplish? Itachi let out a deep breath. Are you sure it's okay I use my strongest long-ranged attack? Itachi asked and the Pumpkin Man nodded. Very well. Itachi opened his eyes as his Mangekyu flared up bright red. A powerful surge of energy erupted around him as he let out a red glow and his Susanoo flared up while letting out a mighty roar. It formed into its humanoid state, and sent such powerful shockwaves that felt twice as powerful as Jura's. What is this feeling of power? Oh dear, Itachi's power is huge. Mavis said with a look of awe while Makarov looked stunned. That kid, he's still not using his full power. Makarov uttered, which caused some of the fairy tale members to chuckle nervously. Who the heck is this guy? Risley from Mermaid Heel questioned as powerful gushes of wind blew around the stadium. Kagura even widened her eyes and started to sweat a little. Itachi Uchiha, Urza Scarlet's adopted older brother as well as the one who trained her, the man who defeated Jalal. This is nothing for you, right, Sting? The exceed of Sting known as Lecter turned to his partner, who was trembling a little. Sting. This might be more troublesome than I expected. Minerva uttered with a narrowed gaze at Itachi. Itachi's Susanoo then formed 3 beads into a circle in one of its 4 hands. The Susanoo then threw its arm backwards, and tossed the beads at the MPF like a shuriken. Yusaka Magatama. The beads clashed into the MPF that erupted in a massive explosion, that from a certain distance looked like a star collapsing in on itself. Everyone in the audience gasped and struggled to remain standing from the immense shockwaves. Everyone was left awestruck, especially Lahar, who has never seen such a high score before, except for a select few fairy tale members, mainly Makarov, Mavis, Laxus, Mira Jane, Urza, Natsu, Gray and Gajil. When the smoke started to clear, it revealed the number of 217,103, and the MPF was nowhere to be seen as it had been destroyed. What a crazy number. This is the new record. Itachi Uchiha of Fairy Tail Team B takes 2nd place in the Pandemonium event. The guild we all thought would end up in last place like all the other years, seems to be unstoppable this year. The crowd went wild and so did everyone from Fairy Tail. I tried to hold some back, but I didn't expect such a high score. Itachi thought as the Susanoo around him vanished and his eyes returned to his normal Sharingan. This should at least prove what Fairy Tail is capable of. Itachi thought as everyone of the participants for the event were left in shock. Jura had a nervous sweat running down his bald head, while smirking. As expected of Itachi Dono, truly, the only other wizard on this continent I think of that can compare to him, is God Serena. Oi, are you freaking serious? Orga gaped out of shock and horror, a look that was shared by everyone else. He really is full of life, was all Miliana could utter while seeing Itachi's score. I knew Itachi was strong, but to get so much more than the score Jura got, is unbelievable. Lucy uttered with wide eyes and sweat drops running down her forehead. As expected of Ni-san. Urza beamed with pride. He really is a monster, damn. Gray uttered with a nervous smile. So cool, I hope I get to fight Itachi in a competition soon. Natsu beamed with excitement. Natsu, please calm down. Wendy uttered with a nervous smile and sweat drop. Let's take a look at the current standings in the Grand Magic Games. Still in 1st place, Raven Tail. Also, still in 2nd place Fairy Tail Team B. In 3rd place Sabretooth. In 4th place Mermaid Heel. Also, tied for 4th place, after jumping up 2 spots, is Fairy Tail Team A. In 5th place Blue Pegasus. In 6th place Lamia Scale. And in last place Quattro Puppy. It's now time for the battle segment of Day 3 of the Grand Magic Games. These battles are going to be great. Yujima said. Yes. Lahar agreed. First up, Mermaid Heel's Miliana, versus Quattro Puppy's Seamus. Let the match begin. And the match ended with Miliana's victory thanks to her acrobatic skills, her determination and will to beat Jalal one day, and that she managed to tie up her opponent. Feelin' full of life, Miliana declared her victory with a grin. Seamus can no longer fight. Miliana wins. That was an entertaining battle. Magic can be used in all sorts of ways, I see. Most educational. Oh, she has improved her skills since the Tower of Heaven. Itachi complimented as although Miliana might not have that much magic power, she makes up for it with skills in her abilities. Next is match 2 of the battle segment. Sabretooth's minstrel who sings to the red moon, Rufus Lore, versus Blue Pegasus Holy Knight Eve Term. Eve tried to put up a fight, although Rufus was easily able to outsmart him and defeated him using his memory spell to make the environment hot, which put Eve and his snow magic at a disadvantage. The match is over. Eve fought valiantly against the formidable Rufus, but is defeated. The winner is Sabretooth's Rufus. He truly is powerful. Yeah right, he doesn't look that tough. Gajeel grinned. Don't underestimate him, he was able to give Gray a hard time, and you, Gray and Natsu are around the same level. Itachi warned the overconfident Dragon Slayer, who growled a little. Next match is Fairy Tail Team B's Laxus Drayar versus Raven Tail's Alexei. Careful, and try and not make this too personal. Considering it's your father's guild. Itachi warned his friend and rival. Yeah, I know, Laxus said and headed to the arena for his match with the golden armored, masked man from Raven Tail. Good luck, Mira said with a friendly beaming smile. This ain't nothing to worry about. Gajeel said, knowing full well that Laxus was one of the monster members of their guild. Juvia has a bad feeling about this though. This match might prove to not be as easy as the rest of you think. Itachi said, which made them look at him with questioning glances. Although in the end I have faith that Laxus will win, this match will also be an important test for him. However, I also believe that he will pass this test. Itachi said, and they all looked even more confused at his words. After all, this Alexei's energy, without a doubt he is. The tension built up in the arena as the two combatants were staring at each other. This is the first showdown between father and son guilds since day one. Mr. Yujima. Yujima then turned to Lahar and whispered something to him. Makarov was on guard this time and had Biska check out Ivan, who was among the crowd with her rifle aimed at him, should he try something. While the Thunder God tribe as well as Lizana kept a close eye on the Raven Tail members in their gallery. Competitors stepped forward. Let the match begin. Once that was announced, Itachi kept his Sharingan focused on the match. Suddenly Laxus was shoulder charged by Alexei. Then to everyone's surprise, Laxus looked like he was getting beaten. Oh no, Mira gasped in shock. You gotta be kidding, Gajeel uttered with doubt. However, unlike them, Itachi looked calm and just watched the match. As from the young Uchiha's eyes, he saw two Laxus and two Alexeis in the arena. I see, illusionary magic. What the hell is this? Laxus asked Alexei as he was watching his illusion self getting beaten by Alexei. A type of illusion magic. Although we are standing here and talking, those around us cannot see or hear our real forms. What they see is an illusion of us fighting. Very convincing, don't you agree? Not a single person has noticed. The audience is seeing the infamous Laxus completely overwhelmed. Alexei said as the sound of his guild mates telling him to get it together was heard. It seems your guild holds you in high regard. How do you suppose your guildmates feel, seeing this unfold? Hey, I wouldn't be so sure that no one has noticed. Laxus smirked, which caused Alexei to look a little confused, well, from his body movements at least. Alexei then directed his attention to the Fairy Tail Team B gallery and noticed Itachi looking straight at him with his Sharingan glowing bright red. Itachi Uchiha. His eyes can see through weak illusions like this no problem. Which is why you are not making any sense. Laxus said and had a serious expression as he glared at Alexei. Sense? What's the point in beating me with illusions? Laxus questioned. Indeed, victory is not our goal. The illusions were supposed to be a distraction for those around us. But it seems I underestimated the demon eyes of Fairy Tail's abilities. Besides, I can control the course of this match. Alexei said with confidence in his voice. And as long as I am standing here alone with you, Itachi is not allowed to interfere, or else that would be cheating. After all, this is supposed to be a one-on-one battle. Hey, yeah right, I know Itachi, and I know that he won't interfere in this no matter what. Because he knows I can beat you. Also, what do you mean by controlling the course of the match? Laxus questioned when suddenly his illusion struck Alexei's illusion, sending him flying back. And now Laxus' illusion was throwing a heavy barrage of attacks at illusion Alexei. However, illusion Alexei gained the upper hand once more. I see, so that's what you meant. My point is that depending on how our negotiations fare, I can allow you to win. Alexei offered. Out of the question. Illusions got nothing to do with this. I'm gonna end this by taking the real you out, right here, right now. Laxus said with lightning flickering around him. Itachi looked at the match, looking calm and relaxed as always. Itachi knew Laxus was more than enough to deal with this Alexei, and Laxus was right, he wouldn't interfere unless it was absolutely necessary. Why are you so calm? Itachi turned towards Mira that looked at him with a questioning glance, as she wondered why Itachi didn't react to Laxus getting beaten like this. Things are not always what they seem. Itachi simply replied, which caused them to be even more confused. Then suddenly members of Raven Tail arrived with Alexei to face off the real Laxus, although they were unnoticed by everyone besides Itachi, as the Raven Tail members in the gallery were also illusions. Yet both Laxus and Itachi looked calm. And one more thing. You already know my strength. Alexei removed his mask and revealed to be Ivan Dreyar. Foolish son of mine. I figured as much, deadbeat dad. Laxus looked unamused by this development. Makarov would die before revealing the secret. But you're a different story. Now will you tell me, where the Lumen Histoire is? Ivan smiled wickedly. The what? Laxus questioned. You needn't play dumb. Huh, I'm certain Makarov has told you. I seriously don't know what you mean. No, you must know. Also, while you are at it, tell me about Itachi's abilities. You seem so close to him now, I assume you two must be the best of friends by now. Still, even if I did, I wouldn't tell you anyway. And as for Itachi's abilities, try asking him yourself cause I ain't telling you anything. Laxus said emotionlessly to his father. Itachi. Ivan growled at the mentioning of that name. Flashback. 15 years ago, father, is that him? The kid who defeated Laxus in the S-class trials. Ivan asked his father having just returned from a mission in time to hear the announcements of the S-class trials. As he saw the guild members surrounding Itachi asking him a lot of questions. What kind of magic does he use? He doesn't use magic. Makarov replied to his son, which caused Ivan some confusion. What? Then how did he beat Laxus? Or more like, why was he accepted into a magic guild in the first place? Ivan was a little outraged. Itachi uses an ancient form called ninjutsu. It works like magic, although it's slightly different as the energy comes from within the body. Although he has Ethernano, he has never used it until now, so he will learn to use magic as well. His future seems very bright. Makarov said with a beaming smile. How come I have never heard of this ninjutsu? Ivan questioned as he was a man who liked to study all kinds of magic, it was his passion. Because it's very ancient, only Itachi can use it as far as my knowledge. Makarov used the lie Itachi would use, that ninjutsu was something practiced by Itachi's family, and since Itachi is the only survivor of his family, he's the only one who can use ninjutsu. Oh, tell me more. Ivan looked intrigued. I can't. Makarov simply replied to his son. Why not? Ivan growled slightly in annoyance of his father always keeping secrets from him. Because, Itachi was the one who told me about it. There are no records known to the Magic Council or the Wizard Saints about ninjutsu, only Itachi's family had records of this, and they are all dead. Itachi is the only one who has this knowledge in this world from my understanding. Makarov replied. Oh, then I will go and ask him. Ivan walked up to the young Uchiha. Greetings, Itachi Uchiha. My name is Ivan Dreyar. I am Laxus' father and the son of Makarov. Ivan introduced himself. Pleasure. Itachi gave him a polite bow. I heard you have some sort of special ability different from magic. Would you please consider sharing this secret with me? Would be a shame if this legendary art would be only left in your hands. Ivan said with an arrogant smug expression that Itachi didn't really care for. I am sorry, but I cannot. Itachi replied, much to Ivan's anger. Come now, what's the harm? Ivan questioned. Would you reveal the secrets of your abilities to anyone? It's only natural for one to keep their strengths and weaknesses a secret from others. Itachi said, and Ivan's temper was about to reach its limit. Come on now, we are a part of fairy tale. There is no need to keep secrets from each other. Ivan kept on pushing for Itachi to reveal the secrets of his abilities. Even so, I hardly know anything about you. Even though we are from the same guild, we still haven't built up mutual trust in one another. Therefore I have no reasons to reveal the secrets of my abilities with you. Now if you will excuse me, my younger sister is waiting. Itachi turned around and was about to walk away. You little brat, just tell me already. Ivan grabbed Itachi's shoulder and infused magic into his palm. Itachi then looked at him with red glowing eyes with 3 black tomos and a dot in the center, and Ivan froze, he couldn't move an inch. What is this? A taste of my power. Itachi replied and deactivated his Sharingan and walked away. You damn brat. Ivan growled and Makarov sighed at his son's foolishness. Flashback end. That little stuck-up brat, holding a secret power all to himself. I want Lumen Histoire, and I want the knowledge of Itachi's power. I want more power. Ivan declared with a wicked expression that caused Laxus to look at his father with even more pity for his foolishness. You really are a moron, deadbeat dad. Laxus uttered with a sigh. Oh, come on now, I'm offering to let you win, despite this hopeless situation. If you refuse my terms, then your illusionary form won't be the only one to receive a thrashing. Ivan smiled wickedly while not seeming to care for his only son's safety. You and all your irritating antics, it's no wonder the old geezer gave up on you. Come at me, all of you. 'Cause the master's enemy is my enemy. Laxus declared with lightning flickering violently around him. It seems you need to be taught a lesson, about the power of Raven Tail, the specialized anti-fairy tale guild. Ivan declared as all the Raven Tail members let out a dark aura. Lumen Histoire, the reason Ivan was kicked out of the guild I believe. He kept endangering other members just to push the truth out from the master. Although I still don't know what this Lumen Histoire is, this is all I needed to know from Ivan. I can figure the rest out myself. Itachi thought as he now was going to just sit back and relax as Laxus fought against Raven Tail. He knew there was nothing to worry about. Especially now that Raven Tail's goal has been revealed to him. As Ivan bragged about being the anti-fairy tale guild, Laxus responded with that Makarov already knew everything about them. He revealed that Gajiel was working as a double agent and was spying on Raven Tail. Doesn't it seem weird, though? Flair questioned. If he knows our secret, he sure isn't acting like it. Nullpudding said. The geezer knows. He's just holding back, because you haven't said anything about some secret, or done anything to our guild. This caused Ivan to growl in rage. The old geezer must have still had faith in you somewhere in his heart. Because you're his son. Silence. Ivan bombarded Laxus with Shikigami paper dolls. I've lived in the shadows all for this day. Also I can obtain the Lumen Histoire. I didn't try anything for the past 7 years. Of course I didn't, because I knew your guild's leftovers wouldn't have any info about it. Inside the guild, Magnolia, Tenro Island, I checked every place connected to your guild. But I still never found it. Where is the Lumen Histoire? Where is it? Tell me, Laxus. You are my son, aren't you? Ivan blasted Laxus with a dark sphere. When the smoke cleared it revealed that Laxus was still standing like nothing happened. Laxus, I know you can do this. Itachi thought as he then saw Makarov call out Laxus' name and raised his hand up with his index finger pointing up and his thumb pointing to the side. Ivan then ordered Obra to take away all of Laxus' magic power, to which Laxus responded by moving right to him. Are you the one who went after Wendy and Charles? Laxus instantly knocked him out with a lightning-covered kick. Laxus then easily avoided attacks from Flare and Nullpudding. This is for Gray. Laxus threw a lightning-covered punch and knocked out Nullpudding. This one's for Lucy. Laxus blasted Flare with a wave of lightning knocking her out instantly. Man, you really are a creep. Get lost. Laxus blasted Kurohige away easily. Deadbeat dad. I dunno what your goal is, but now it's payback time for thrashing my guildmates. Wait. I'm your father, you know. We're family. You would not harm your dear old dad. Ivan started to look nervous. My family is fairy tale. Laxus declared as lightning flickered around him more violently. You ungrateful excuse of a son. Be gone. Laxus easily dodged Ivan's attack. I will destroy anyone who threatens my family. Laxus punched Ivan in the jaw with a massive amount of lightning and easily knocked him out and the illusion vanished. Itachi smiled while everyone else looked confused. Well done, Laxus, Itachi uttered. What in the world? What happened? The pumpkin man then took a closer look at Alexei and saw it was Ivan. That face. It's their guild master, Kin. Alexei was actually Master Ivan, Kin. So that battle between Laxus and Alexei was just an illusion. Laxus remains standing. The match is over. Is that why you were so calm? You knew all along, didn't you? Mira questioned and looked at Itachi. Of course I did. And I knew Laxus could pull it off. If anything bad had happened I would have interfered, of course. Itachi assured, and Mira let out a sigh at her boyfriend's behavior. You could at least have told the rest of us. Mira rubbed her temple. I needed to find out what Raven Tail's goal was first, plus the surprise would be ruined if I told you. Itachi smiled with a light chuckle which caused Mira to smile a little. 5 of their members attacked him without our knowing, and their master participated in the tournament. This is a flagrant violation of the rules. Whatever the case, the winner is Fairy Tail V's Laxus Drayar. The crowd went wild. Laxus, I lost today, but let me tell you this. Lumen Histoire is Fairy Tail's dark side. One day, you will learn what Fairy Tail really is like. Ivan let out a laughter as he was being carried away by the guards, same with the rest of the Raven Tail members. Although the little imp managed to escape, Itachi noticed the imp, and it was quick. It was gone before Itachi could even react. Itachi then summoned forth a crow. Tell Jalal to be on the lookout for that imp-like creature. The crow then flew away into the distance. Now, Then, let's put that disappointing battle behind us, and move on to the final match of the day, Kin. Fairy Tail A's Wendy Marble versus Lamia Scales Sharia Blendy. It was Wendy versus the cousin of Sherry, Sharia, both very young girls. They both ran down to the arena and they both tripped, causing everyone to laugh lightly at these two cute clumsy girls. We have a real adorable match on our hands. I'm rooting for both of you gals. Woot. Woot. You're a weird one. This is the final match of day 3. Begin. Itachi sensed something, the other reason why he was in this tournament. Zirf, Itachi uttered and made a clone to stand in his place at the gallery as he ran off. Itachi, where are you going? Mira questioned. I have something to do, my clone will watch the match in my stead. Itachi shouted back as he ran down the hallway leaving his confused teammates behind with his clone to watch the match. That magic power, there is no mistake, that felt like Zirf. Itachi thought and ran to meet up with Jalal. Itachi's clone witnessed the battle, and first Wendy enchanted up her abilities and attacked Sharia with a wing wave of wind, although to their surprise Sharia countered her with black wind. This is lost magic, God Slayer magic, same as Orga and that guy from Grimoire Heart. Itachi's clone uttered. This is a surprise, Mira uttered with slight wide eyes. Are you kidding? Gajeel questioned in shock on how many Slayers they had encountered. Both the little girls then blasted each other with a roar attack, and the clash of these two wind attacks sent powerful gushes of wind around the arena, causing Mira Jane to hold down her skirt from all the wind, same with Juvia who held down her coat. Sharia, despite being Wendy's opponent, had concern for Wendy's well-being and asked if it didn't hurt too much. She looked at this as a mere game for fun, then again this was basically a game. It seemed in the start that Sharia had the upper hand as she avoided most of Wendy's attacks, while Wendy was bombarded with different attacks. Is Wendy going to be alright? Mira asked with concern for one of their younger guild members. The squirt is stronger than she looks, she will be fine. Gajeel assured. Wendy's indeed strong for a girl her age, but so is Sharia, if anything they are about equal. Although Sharia might have an edge over Wendy, Itachi's clone said as they paid close attention to the battle. Both girls then started to eat the air around them started to thin. They are both eating so much of the air. Laxus uttered as he felt the lack of air around them, nothing critical of course. Dragon Slayer secret art. Wendy has mastered a secret spell. Mira questioned amazed at the little girl's progress. Juvia is impressed. Juvia also praised the young Wendy's newfound power, as a wind barrier of some sort formed around the two girls. Shattering light. Sky drill. Wendy blasted a massive amount of wind into Sharia and knocked her over, leaving the audience amazed at the little girl's power. And just as Wendy was about to be declared the winner, Sharia stood back up and congratulated Wendy on her power, and all her wounds healed and vanished. I see, so this is the difference in their abilities. Wendy can heal others, while Sharia can heal herself. Itachi's clone analyzed, and everyone looked shocked and wondered if Wendy would be able to pull this off. Wendy looked exhausted and was panting. She used too much power at once. She has power but she hasn't fully learned how to use it. Right now it's like looking at a mere child fighting, throwing a barrage of heavy attacks, that will eventually exhaust the body quite quickly. Meanwhile, with the real Itachi, Itachi managed to find Jalal among the crowd. He was dressed up as Mistogen to keep a low profile around the Magic Council. There you are. Jalal turned to Itachi. That Sharia girl, I think she might be connected to Zirf somehow. No, I seriously doubt that. I felt the energy, and indeed it did seem like it came from her. But when I activated my Sharingan I noticed something else, something that isn't in the stadium. Itachi said and noticed something from the corner of his eye. It was Mest, dressed in his Magic Council army cloak. This is bad. If he notices Jalal then, Itachi thought and grabbed Jalal's wrist. Let's go. Itachi and Jalal quickly left to a place where there weren't too many people. The council that would have been trouble, Jalal uttered. By the way, where is the energy coming from if not the stadium? Jalal questioned with a raised brow. Like I said, it's not in the stadium, it's coming from the audience. Itachi said with a stern look on his face. Meanwhile, everyone witnessed the brave little Wendy fight for her guild with all her might, as she and Sharia went all out. Their tiny fists both carrying a lot of power. The fight kept on rampaging until the time went out, and the match ended in a draw. The time's up. The fight ends in a draw. Both teams earn 5 points. The crowd went wild at witnessing these two young girls' power, What's even more that they managed to bond and became friends through this fight. Which warmed the hearts of the many people in the audience, watching this battle unfold. What a touching ending. The tournament could end now and I'd be happy. Hold on. It's only the end of day 3. Thank you everyone. Guess it's time for me to go. Itachi's clone vanished in a puff of smoke. Meanwhile, Itachi regained the memories of his clone. Can you feel it? The match is over and the magic power is still here. Itachi said, and they both ran out. They looked around the crowd to see if they could spot anyone. They spotted someone in a dark hood that vanished amongst the crowd. TCH. We lost them. Jalal growled and vanished at high speed to go after the hooded person, while Itachi vanished in a murder of crows and followed. The scoreboard was as following. In first place Fairy Tail Team B with 40 points, in second place was Sabretooth with 34 points, in third place was Mermaid Heel with 32 points, in fourth place was Fairy Tail Team A with 27 points, in fifth place was Lamia Scale with 21 points, in sixth was Blue Pegasus with 18 points, in seventh place was Quattro Puppy with 14 points. While Raven Tail was disqualified. Jalal and Itachi were walking around trying to locate the source of this mysterious power. They then noticed the hooded person, but were suddenly stopped by Doranbolt aka Mest, who teleported in front of them. Stop right there. What is the meaning of this? Itachi questioned with his eyes narrowed at Doranbolt. From my knowledge Mistogen isn't in Earthland, so who is that? Doranbolt glared at Mistogen. Doranbolt, what is this commotion? Lahar came with a squad of knights. I know you're not Mistogen. Who are you? Doranbolt questioned. We don't know what you are talking about, now if you wouldn't mind we are in a hurry. Itachi said as he and Jalal walked past Doranbolt, who teleported and grabbed Jalal by the shoulder. Oh no, you don't. I know Mistogen isn't in Earthland. I am Mistogen. Jalal assured, but then Doranbolt reached out for his mask. What are you? Who are you? Doranbolt removed the mask and Jalal's face was revealed. Jalal, Lahar questioned in shock when he saw his face. What is the meaning of this, Itachi? This is Mistogen, Lahar, trust me. As you can see, this is why Mistogen hides his face. I'm sure you have heard that he never let anyone see his face. You see, he was born looking like Jalal. Itachi defended Jalal by using his superior skill of lying. You mean he is a different person? Lahar questioned. Yes. Have you ever heard of the parallel world known as Edilus? Itachi questioned. Yes, I have. Lahar replied. It's a world connected to this one, everyone has an alternate version of themselves there. Jalal included. That person is Mistogen, he ended up here during an abnormality in his world which opened a portal to our world. Itachi kept the lie going. Are you really from Edilus? Lahar asked Jalal. Yes. Jalal replied. And why are we supposed to believe you? Doranbolt questioned. Lahar, you have never had any reason to doubt me in the past. Are you telling me you don't trust me? Itachi tried to play on Lahar's guilt. I suppose, I haven't ever had a reason to doubt you. You have done splendid work for the council in the past. Very well, I shall take your word for it. Lahar accepted. Itachi let out an inward sigh of relief, but then from the corner of his eye, he noticed Miliana glaring daggers at Jalal, while Kagura, who was on her knees, held her back from attacking Jalal. This might be problematic. I'm sorry, Urza, it seems Miliana might end up holding something against you and me after this. Itachi thought as without a doubt Miliana and Kagura would think Fairy Tail was keeping Jalal hidden or something like that. I appreciate your understanding. Jalal thanked Lahar. No, I should apologize for my ignorance. Lahar said. I consider Jalal a menace as well. Should I find him, I will let you know. Jalal put his Mistogen mask back on. Now we must be going. Jalal and Itachi walked away. Once they were far away enough. That was a close one. Lucky Lahar owes me a great deal. Itachi uttered in a low tone so others would not hear him besides Jalal. Yeah, I am in debt to you as well. Jalal uttered. Don't worry about it, anyway it seems the trail went cold. We will have to try again tomorrow. Itachi sighed at the fact that they lost their best chance to figure this mysterious power source out. Stay hidden, Lahar is bound to still suspect you. Itachi warned. Yeah, see you around. Jalal vanished in a flash of light. Later, at nighttime, Laxus and Makarov met up for a talk. Geezer, what's the lumen histoire? Did you hear about that from Ivan? Makarov questioned. Hey, that's putting it lightly. Laxus said, and then someone jumped out from the shadows. It was Itachi. I would also like to know more about this. After all, this was Raven Tail's main goal here. Itachi said, and Makarov let out a sigh. Honestly, now, that kid, he said it was part of Fairy Tail's dark side. Laxus said. I assume it was from the second master's era. Itachi suspected that the second Fairy Tail master who became the master of Grimoire Heart Hades was behind this. It's not dark at all. Mavis appeared in the scene out of nowhere, as expected of a ghost. First master. The Lumen Histoire is our guild's light side. Mavis said, seeming as she was about to explain it. No, First Master. You mustn't. Makarov warned. I know. Only those who serve as guild master are permitted to know this. I ask for your understandings, Laxus, Itachi. Mavis turned to the two curious guild members. As long as it's nothing messed up, I won't cry. Laxus replied. I shall respect your wishes then, First Master. Itachi replied, as he wanted to respect something this major in their guild, especially respect a request from the founding master. Thank you. Still, where did Ivan get a hold of that information? Makarov questioned, as he knew that Ivan knew about this, just not where he had heard it from. From the second master, Precht, I assume. Mavis said, and it seemed to be the most logical option. I agree, seems like the most logic option. Itachi said. I never imagined Precht would fall to the dark side. I made a poor decision, choosing him, Mavis uttered and lowered her head in shame. No, you aren't to blame, First Master. Makarov assured. It is my fault. Mavis then began to cry, much to the shock of these three men, that had no idea how to react to this. First Master. Makarov shouted out of concern as Mavis continued to cry. Gee geezer. What do we do? Laxus questioned. I'm not crying. I'm not crying, one bit. Mavis said with teary eyes as tears kept running down her cheek. Laxus. Itachi. One of you comfort her. Console her. Makarov demanded. Huh, that's asking for the impossible. She's a ghost. Laxus pointed out. Itachi. Do something. Makarov demanded, and Itachi was taken a little aback. Well, maybe if Itachi activated his Mangekyo Sharingan and focused his Susanoo energy into his palm, as a red spectral energy emitted from his palm. He then slowly reached out to Mavis' head and started petting her, much to everyone's surprise. How did you even do that? Laxus questioned while Makarov was gaping out of pure shock. Well, since she is a ghost, she has spiritual energy, correct? Itachi said, to which Laxus and the gaping Makarov nodded. Well, my Susanoo is made up of spectral energy, so I thought if I infused my hand with the Susanoo I would be able to touch her. Itachi replied, and it seemed to make sense for Laxus and Makarov. I guess that would work, right geezer? Laxus turned to Makarov. I suppose it would work. Well, at least this means you can comfort Master Mavis whenever she is sad. Makarov grinned, as that was one less problem left. I'm not crying, Mavis uttered, still holding back her tears, and the three men looked taken aback. Itachi. Quickly comfort her. You are the only one who can touch her. Makarov demanded, as now the hopes of comforting the first master was finally here right in front of them. There, don't cry, Itachi uttered as he petted Mavis's head. Mavis had a teary expression as she was holding back her tears. I'm not crying, of course not, you are a big girl, and big girls don't cry. Itachi said, and kept petting Mavis with a deadpan expression. I'm a big girl. Mavis nodded with a teary expression, while Makarov and Laxus looked dumbfounded looking at this scene. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to share this with your friends and help our community grow.